We're live. Sam Feye. It's nice to see you again, man.
It's good to see you too.
So, welcome everybody to episode 4 now of BMV and BBQ. I'm here with my buddy Sam Feye. He created my website, BeMoreVentures.org. He killed it. If you haven't checked out the website, you need to go check it out. He did every single thing, that all the little features, all the graphics on the neon signs. He did it all by himself with the coding that he's been learning about, with the hopes of becoming a website developer, right?
Yeah, eventually. I want to get more and more into the freelance sector. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
You like coding.
I do like coding.
I don't do that too often.
Yeah. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship. Some days I love it more than others, but I mean, I know people that they look at code and it just drives them bonkers and gives them headaches. So that's not me. I love doing it, and I especially love doing websites. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Now, if you want to, we're going to be talking about a few different things out here today, but if you want to get in contact with Sam for potential services to develop your website, you can go to GitHub. GitHub.com/SFeye.
Yep, that's it.
SFEYE is how you spell Feye. So that's your GitHub. What is GitHub? I don't even know.
Yeah, GitHub's like an open source place to store your code and develop.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people share through there and collaborate.
Got you.
Yeah.
So you can put your projects up basically there to be...
Yeah, it has your whole portfolio and your bio and stuff like that. People can check out every line of code that you've written.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's like putting you really in.
And it's free.
It's free too.
Yeah.
That's the best part right there.
Yeah.
It's would you consider it, I mean, you said open source. Would that instantly, when I hear open source, it's like a trigger word for crypto. Is it similar, like, in the sense of that, like, I guess, anybody can do it, like the blockchain?
Yeah. Yeah, open source just being that you have your source code out, open to the public, that just leaves a lot more room for collaboration and a lot more transparency for companies to, share what they're working on. You can trust what they're doing. You can see every line of code that they've written. I mean, how can you not trust that? If you have a problem with it, you can kind of dive in and be like, oh, this isn't right. And then you can open an issue and tell them about it.
Yeah.
Or some projects you can directly contribute to.
And improve upon.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
That just drives innovation.
I was just going to say, that's like, it sounds like that's what, it's the same concept what I'm trying to do with BMV, just for coding. It opens the door for collaboration. That's what I'm trying to do here at BMV is, allow local businesses and nonprofits and creators to collaborate with each other to build a local economy that isn't dependent on national retailers coming in and taking the dollars and then putting it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know you like to support local, and to my understanding, you're a little bit against big software companies. For whatever reason, I would like to know that reason. Why are you not so much on the big software? What's the problem with them?
I love the products that some of these big software companies have developed, and I wouldn't say I dislike all of them, but I definitely think that once you start to, past that startup phase, like Facebook, they still kind of market themselves as a startup, but they're way past that stage.
Oh yeah.
They're like a multi-billion-dollar huge corporation, but I think once you start to get bigger and bigger, it's harder to innovate and harder to develop new products because you're just so big. You have to tie it into your old systems. You can't just build a little thing from scratch. And I think that slows down innovation on their side. And what those companies always end up doing, I mean, Facebook is just a perfect example of it. They always just buy out the competition.
Yes. It's annoying.
Yeah. And, with my company, we bought out, I wouldn't call them competition, but we bought out a company that was working on something that we were interested in. And so we bought them out, and a lot of the workers for that company, they're startup guys. They like working on it for a startup. They don't necessarily like working for a big corporation. And I think we kept 6 employees.
Oh my God.
And they only had 60, but still, it's
Was the 6 employees retained because of their talent, or that only 6 were willing to come into the new company?
I'm not 100% sure,
Oh, gotcha.
but from what I heard, it's a mixture of both.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on that same wave of, it's like an underdog. I'm always rooting for the underdog before anything, and it just seems like once things go mainstream or a big, big tech, all this, things get like watered down, just like you said. Like, nothing's new, but I mean, I guess when I say that, I think of Meta, which just happened with Facebook, and now they're Meta.
They're Meta.
I guess they're not Facebook anymore.
Meta.
I guess we call them Meta now.
Yeah, everything's Meta. What?
It's like, but I'm like, okay, so they're getting into VR. I guess the writing was on the wall with VR, right? Is that, could you even call what they're doing VR, or is it a different type of augmented reality?
I don't even know if they know yet. It sounds like VR, but I don't even know.
Yeah, they're just kind of like,
I've just seen the creepy videos with Zuckerberg.
Dude, every video of him is creepy, right? Every single one.
Everyone. Always the same expression.
Yeah, and he's got that lifeless look in his eyes. You're like,
oh my god,
what are you thinking about, really, Zach?
We don't want to know.
No, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
he's an evil genius. But what do you see? I know you do a lot of crypto. What do you see with this new Meta, right? This new company Meta. Not specifically Meta. It doesn't have to be, but it seems like that's the way this technological world is going. Like, our reality is starting to be changed, literally. Do you see an opportunity for crypto? Is that where it's going to start booming, or is crypto a practical, real world application before it is a VR application, you think?
Well, I think that Meta will definitely drive crypto like beyond, way past where we're at right now. If they can do what they're saying they can do, then obviously like crypto is going to be a huge part of that. They mentioned like online virtual shopping, where you can actually walk around like a mall virtually and everything you buy will be in crypto. So I mean, more use cases like that, and if Meta catches on, that'll obviously drive acceptability of cryptos. But I think right now we're in a good place in that we're trying to make it more widely acceptable at how the world works right now. Like at a store when you try to buy something,
sure.
Or online when you're trying to online shop and you want to use your cryptocurrency. Some people are starting to adopt that, and we're building the technology to do that. So
what do you see, what's your biggest case for why crypto should be implemented? Why is it important? Why is it good?
I would say the main thing would be the decentralized part of it, not owned or controlled by a single organization. And I always kind of urge people to do a little bit of research into the cryptocurrency that they're interested in. That's mainly because we kind of blanket cryptos as all decentralized, but that's not always the case. Sometimes there's a company or a group of programmers that kind of own it or maintain the vast majority of the blockchain code, and they can have a lot of power sometimes depending on how they set up their blockchain. I mean, Ethereum's a perfect example of that. You can kind of look into an Ethereum fork that happened a couple years ago. It's kind of a little bit of a scandal, but it's kind of been swept under the rug now.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of research into that. Ethereum, so it is not decentralized. Ethereum is through do you know the guy who's made it? I forgot his name.
I don't know the name.
I've seen him so many times, I just forgot the name, but it is not decentralized, right?
They're technically decentralized, but there was something called a fork that happened, I can't remember how long ago, it was years ago though, and they either got hacked or there was a bug in the code. I think it was a bug in the code, and they had a bunch of transactions that got hacked into, and they ended up saying, okay, we made a mistake, there was a bug in the code, we got hacked, somebody found that vulnerability and took advantage of it, and so they rolled back all of those transactions.
Okay.
Well, that's the same thing that a bank would do if you got you know, if somebody stole your credit card information and they spend a bunch of money, they could refund you. I mean, that's just some centralized people that are making decisions.
But they were giving you the illusion, kind of, that you have the decentralized aspect, right?
Yeah, like in theory it's decentralized, but they proved, in my opinion, that it's actually not.
Yeah.
There's a group of people that can go in there and make decisions for the blockchain and change things and revert things.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Ethereum? You think it's a net positive or net negative for crypto? I know it's huge right now, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
I think they're really pushing forward with their new like proof of concepts and proof of stake algorithms that they've been trying to booster. But that one thing that happened has kind of kept me away from investing much into it.
Okay, because because of the comfortability of it being centralized, but essentially, like, and it's very core. If they can do that, it is centralized to me.
That's what I think too.
Gotcha.
Whether or not they're going to make those decisions often or all the time or ever again, I don't know. But they can. Yeah, and that goes against the whole idea why crypto even boomed. Yeah, and for me, it's like my favorite thing about crypto is that it's decentralized.
Yeah, it's badass.
When that happens, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll stay away from that one. And so I always kind of tell people, you know, do a little bit of research into the history, see what kind of algorithms they're using. They're trying to innovate with new things. You know, there's always the risk of vulnerabilities and bugs.
Yeah. So what are you into in crypto? So what do you like? Project.
Well, I'm all out in Bitcoin right now, but I'm usually messing around with that a lot.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Cardano.
Yeah, me too.
Really busy with Cardano lately. Those would be my top two. I also like Uniswap and Chainlink.
My top two are as well are Bitcoin and Cardano. I think Cardano's. You know, I couldn't tell you even anymore, but I remember I was into it. You know, I lived and breathed it for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And I learned as much as I could in the shortest amount of time. And then I kind of just, it was so taxing to see the numbers fluctuate so heavily. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep my money where it's at and just let it sit and let it do its thing. So I stopped really keeping up with it. Every once in a while I'll check out some news on it. But I just saw Bitcoin hit an all-time high. I think yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
68.5 I think it hit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's still jumping. Great to see that. You know, I'm not trying to get too eager and jump in again, but to my understanding, last time I was reading about it, I haven't seen any changes since then. But ADA is where it has the opportunity to take Ethereum's spot as a truly decentralized and I also platform. But I also saw that they were doing something with Ethiopia. This was right when I kind of leaned out of it so heavily, in that I'm going to botch their project, but essentially they're trying to work with getting Ethiopians access to this currency, ADA, and work with the country, the government, in implementing some type of economic system using that. And once that news dropped, it jumped, obviously. But it's been consistent. You know, the past however long I've been in there, it hasn't jumped too far up, too far low. You know, it did get a spike a couple times based off some news, but that just goes, I think, to show its value that it has. Okay, so you're into Bitcoin, you're into ADA. Now you think that, how heavy are you into crypto? How long have you been into it?
You know, my friend got me into it when I was a freshman in college.
Okay, how old are you now?
I'm 25 now.
25.
So I was like 18, 19 during that time. And he was just all about it. Okay. Yeah, he loved it. He still is. You know, he's done very well in investing in it. You know, so if I ever need advice, that's kind of who I go to. But yeah, he got me into it back then, and I was always more interested in the tech side of things more than the money. Okay. Not that I wasn't interested in the money side of things, but you know, I wasn't watching the news trying to figure out what was going to spike next. I was more interested in learning about what their system was, what algorithms they were using. And so I took like a couple Bitcoin classes in college too.
Oh, there. Courses for Bitcoin?
Not Bitcoin, blockchain.
Blockchain.
Yeah, blockchain
That's really
classes
awesome.
in college. They were all like electives. There was like 6 people in my class, but it was still cool.
Innovators, though, really.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, by the end, the second class, we were making our own blockchains. They weren't like usable, but.
But you still had a skeleton of a blockchain, huh?
Yeah.
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 And it's just coding, right? Like that's all it is. Coding of a blockchain.
Yeah, it's not even super complicated. I mean, the ones that are in place now are, but the ones we were building are, they're relatively simple once you understand the concepts.
What got you into coding?
I took a little web development class when I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
So it got me into it.
And you just, why do you think you like it so much? I'm curious.
I hated the class, but I loved the coding.
That's so decentralized crypto, bro. You just say, bro.
I hated the class. No, I mean, the class was done just because, our teacher was teaching us the way he learned how to code. And this was 2014, 2000, somewhere between 2012 and 2014. And, he was teaching us kind of the old way, and it sucked.
Yeah.
It was hard. It didn't make sense. There was a lot of low-level information you need to learn first. And so I liked what we were doing in the class, and I eventually, we made a mock-up of our school website. And we each were in charge of a page or a section of a page. It's pretty cool, the way he did it, but the tools that we had available to us were terrible. And then the way he taught it wasn't the best. It wasn't the new way of doing things. So then I started to learn it on my own through high school, and then started freshman year in the computer science program.
Got you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
I started at SIUE, Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville. It's 40 minutes out of St. Louis, so it was pretty close to home.
Gotcha.
And then I transferred to UMKC my junior year.
Okay. Nice. You came back to KC. You were born in KC?
No, St. Louis.
St. Louis. You were born in St. Louis. How you like KC?
I love it here.
You do?
Yeah.
More than St. Louis?
I do.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, my family's in St. Louis.
Oh, shit! You heard it here, baby!
but I love it here, for real.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
There's so much to do. There's so much to do. Have you ever been to St. Louis?
Never. I've been there once, actually, when I was in 7th grade for the Belton State football championship. And it was, I was in 7th grade. Couldn't do nothing. So there ain't much to do out there. The downtown's pretty dull.
Yeah. It's pretty dull. It's a lot of empty buildings.
Oh, really?
There's stuff to do. I mean, Ballpark Village is fun. They have a really cool aquarium they just set up, but growing up, I never really went down there. We went to see the Arch, we went to the zoo, but that was it. And then when I was 21 in St. Louis, so I got a taste of the Soulard nightlife.
Okay.
And it was okay. I liked it. Then I came to Kansas City and I loved it. There's just so much to eat, drink, do, easy to get around.
Really? Okay. Here's the thing. You see, it's so interesting hearing you say that. I hear the complete opposite from locals. But that's the thing, you don't know what you got.
Grow up in a place, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so you like the local KC scene?
I love it, yeah.
What's some of your favorite, well, if you could name a couple off the top of your head, or one, it doesn't really matter, but a local food spot that you've really been enjoying?
Oh man, well, I'm super impartial to Axwa Bistro.
Okay.
I worked there through college, so
Gotcha.
I still work there sometimes, but it's a French bistro on 55th and Brookside. I love the atmosphere, I love food.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were bartender, server?
Both. Yeah. Barista, bartender, server, I did everything.
Nice. So that's a good segue. Right now, guys, we're eating Woodyard barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first I've ever tried. I've never had it before. It was featured on Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. That's what the sign said. Obviously, it's Travel Channel. A few things. I think this burnt end chili. I had to buy the burnt end chili because I read that it's in this book called 500 Things You Have to Eat Before You Die. So obviously, I bought the burnt end chili.
Did you watch his movie?
The Bourdain movie?
They did a documentary on him, didn't they?
I think you're right, but I didn't see it. It's pretty recent, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I haven't watched it. You?
Yeah, my girlfriend showed it to me, but I fell asleep like in the middle.
Uh-oh. Must not have been that good, huh? Or you were
I was really tired.
Yeah.
But she loved it, so.
I like Anthony Bourdain. He's a type of guy. You know, when I first learned about him when I was a kid, I was like, he's a pretentious chef. Is kind of was my outlook on him. And then when I grew up and I was able to understand what he's actually saying, he's a really down to earth guy. I mean, it sucks he passed because he seemed like the type of guy I could kick it with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. He has a crazy story, like how he came up and stuff.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, I should watch that. I love documentaries, so why the hell wouldn't I?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
You like documentaries?
Meh.
Really? I would have took you for a documentary guy for sure, bro.
I don't know. I like action movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Transformers?
I mean, sure.
Just curious.
Little Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Mega 5. Well, that was the original, actually. She wasn't in the second or third or fourth or 8th or 25th, so.
Man,
Yeah,
keep
a lot.
rolling with them.
Yeah. As long as things blow up, it's got a market.
I just saw The Last Night in Soho on Sunday. It's a weird movie.
I never even heard of that.
It's just that now it got to theaters.
Okay.
The first half we thought was like really awesome. Like beautifully filmed, lots of cool colors. Takes place in London, so that's always kind of neat. And then the second half just wasn't. I wasn't a huge fan of it. You'll have to check it out. It's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho. Man, so there, you ever seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I watched it all.
Yeah,
I didn't read the books though.
Me neither. I'm never one to read the books for whatever reason. I don't like to read too much.
Yeah.
I'm trying lately, but I just have not. I never read the books before I watch the shows. I can look at things and I get the same thing. You know what I mean? I'm not the one to like be taken away through a book like I hear so often. But yeah, that was a random tangent. We got on some movies now.
Yeah, my girlfriend's actually reading like all the Harry Potters right now.
Okay.
So like every couple months I get to watch one.
So she hadn't seen the Harry Potters?
She hasn't seen the movies. She hasn't read the books.
Oh,
so
my
I think she's
gosh.
maybe seen some of the movies, but doesn't remember some of them too. So every couple months I get to watch one Harry Potter.
That's respect to that because I've never seen. The only time I'd watch the Harry Potters was with my uncle. He loved the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And he'd take us, or he'd make us watch on like the Thanksgiving Day marathon. They seem to always show during Thanksgiving. We'd watch it then. I'd watch it then, but I'd be tuned out. I'd be tuned out. Cool. So, I want to pivot a little bit and get into. Well, I know you're a Chiefs fan, right?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I used to be a Rams.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I used to be a Rams fan actually
Until
they moved.
yeah. How's St. Louis feel about that? Is it kind of the same?
I would say salty. A lot of people aren't happy with it. I mean, you lose a football team. Imagine if the Chiefs went to some like Arizona or something. I don't know.
That's a really fair point. I'd be pissed.
I'd be pissed. Yeah, I was pissed. I went to a lot of games growing up too.
Okay.
And they just get up and move one day to LA that already has like a dozen football teams.
That's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't make any. Why? Do you have any idea why that is?
More people go to the games. I don't know. More money. I don't know.
It sounds so lame.
Because what? There's like the LA Rams, the LA Chargers.
Chargers.
And then there's the Oakland Raiders. Oh, they moved to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. So they just had to replace the Oakland Raiders for, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I guess. But
it just sounds so lame. Like that because then you have San Fran too.
Yeah.
Which is just a little farther up north. Actually, I think that might be all the Cali teams.
Yeah, it used to be the San Diego Chargers, but now they're in LA.
Yeah, they play in the same field. Oh no, yeah. So that's all like. It just is so lame. I get it. There's people over there, and there's a lot of money over there. But like, damn, you took so St. Louis has the Blues. They do have the Cardinals though. They're killers. The Cardinals seem to, not every year, but they're a badass baseball team. I'm a Royals fan, but still, like,
Yeah,
they do their
Louis,
thing.
they love their Cardinals.
They love their Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Blues?
Oh yeah, especially at the Stanley Cup. That was a lot of fun.
When was that?
2 years ago, I think.
2 years ago. Were you rooting for them at that time?
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah, I'm a Blues fan.
Yeah.
It was like their first one ever. So.
Oh no kidding! Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it was huge.
Nothing.
Fun parade.
We got the Maverick. Yeah, the Mavericks. I don't even know where they play, and it's like a AA hockey team.
Yeah,
basically.
but Kansas City has a hockey bar. You know?
No. What is it?
It's called the Blue Line. It's up in the River Market.
I've heard of it. I've heard of the Blue Line. Yeah.
I just think that's awesome.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, you gotta support the hockey players out there.
That's true. Dude, hockey, yes. So I love martial arts. I know you're a wrestler.
Yeah.
So we're familiar with that type of physical, aggressive, in-your-face type style. Hockey is so badass.
It is.
There are some fucking brawlers over there. I have nothing but respect to hockey players. Like, they're right up there with fucking MMA athletes, Olympic wrestlers to me. They just don't give a fuck. They're ready to. The rules allow you to fight.
Yeah, and then
It's
you just
awesome.
look at one hockey player and they're like missing all their teeth.
They don't give. And then, dude, I don't even know how it's still legal when you can, check. I don't know what it's called, but you can check somebody like that. Like, bro, that's a concussion every single time, bro. So if it was hitting on me, that's a concussion.
Yeah, break a couple ribs too.
And they just don't give a fuck. They're like, dude, that's part of the sport.
Yeah.
But so to pivot that to football, they're making it a little more safer for the players now. No shots to the head. I think it's a net positive, to be honest with you. I don't think there's justification. I don't think there's any reason to take unnecessary brain damage for a sport.
Protect the players. I'm all about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was going to be my question.
So what do you think about the taunting calls?
Way lame, bro. That's what do you think?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Why?
It's meant to be competitive. You're meant to talk a little bit of crap,
Exactly. You take away talk, and a lot of it's mental too. Like,
yeah,
you post it up across from a corner. If I can say a couple words to get inside your head a little bit, well, I'm sure they do, but the taunting is just a part of that to me.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Mm-mm.
Might hurt their feelings, but
Play good though. You're playing football, exactly. Just deal with it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's
No.
just like somebody crap talking you.
Yeah, and do better.
Yeah, play better. Or they're just crap talking you to crap talk you and try to get you out of your game. You gotta be mentally strong.
Yes.
But that's part of the game.
Are you so you grew up wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
What does that do for you? What did that do for you?
Oh man, wrestling. That did a lot for me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I started wrestling when I was in elementary school. I think 6 or 7.
That was badass.
Doing little league wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And first off, it keeps you in absolute terrific shape. And I did it all the way until high school, all the way through high school, and it keeps you in such great shape. So I'd be playing other sports. I did football, baseball.
Oh wow.
Volleyball. Volleyball was another big sport of mine.
Okay.
But I couldn't go to try out for those teams or I go play with those teams, and I'm just in great shape already. So
you're ready to go.
That's what else can you ask for from a sport? I mean, I'm not going to go professional in anything, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe, but I obviously I didn't. So what else can I ask for from a sport other than to get me in great shape?
Yeah, solid point.
And then discipline. Couple Thanksgivings where you can't eat Thanksgiving dinner. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, dude, that would suck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Develop some discipline in you.
Yeah, I mean you have to make weight or else you let your whole team down. So
yeah. Now, how often did you have to cut weight?
Personally, very, very rarely.
Oh.
I was always very light for my height, and so I could and I had kind of the skills a little bit above some of my peers since I've been wrestling my entire middle school, elementary career. So
Gotcha.
it was coming in freshman, sophomore year, I kind of chose my weight class, and
Nice.
if somebody didn't want to wrestle off against me, they'd go to a different one and maybe have a little bit more luck.
Okay. Now you also play volleyball.
Yeah.
Okay, so if wrestling granted you the biggest thing, discipline, what did volleyball? Because it seems like you're pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
You love to do it. What has that given you?
Oh man, I loved volleyball for the team sport aspect.
Interesting.
Every single player on a volleyball team, and this is in sixes. I play a lot of fours still, but in sixes even, which is as big as the team really gets. Every single person will be touching a ball every game, multiple times.
Okay. Is that not the case in sixers?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. In
That's
sixes.
what you're saying. Fours, my bad.
Yeah, well, in fours you just get so much more because you have to cover more ground. But wrestling, you're on a team. Your team gets points, but it's a very individual sport.
Yeah, it really is.
And, you know, even when you go wrestle in like the tournaments, like the state tournaments, you're not really wrestling for your school anymore. You're wrestling for you to win the trophy.
Absolutely.
You know? And it looks good for the school if they have a bunch of people place in state, but in volleyball, you know, if you have one bad player, the other team is just going to pick them apart all game.
It's okay.
So you really got to be solid as a team. There's a lot of communication. You're calling plays mid rally, and you know it's hard work, and you have to be on the same page with your teammates. And one weak link, and you're gonna get toasted
because they're gonna be picking them apart.
Yeah.
I've always wondered. I never really understood how complex volleyball could get.
Yeah, I mean every sport has their like. If you really dive deep into it,
like really deep strategies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming you'd say the same thing goes for volleyball, or would you say on the spectrum of sports, is it a pretty simple sport, or would you say it gets really, really complicated?
I mean, it's a skill sport, so you don't have to necessarily be like the strongest or the, you know, fastest player. Those things help, but height is a big thing, kind of like basketball. If you're really tall, you're gonna do better than some people that are really short. But other than that, it's really skillful game. Like passing and hitting the ball and setting, they're all very, you know, you practice that skill a lot and you'll get better. Which is nice. You know, you're not just constantly being beat out by people that are faster or stronger.
I can definitely see that. It's frustrating.
But yeah, it's not like football where you have 100 plays that you have to memorize before the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, how many plays would you say your team, or on your best team at your best moment, how many plays did you have at one time to go?
We'd have like 5 plays drawn up where like they were complex plays where multiple people are moving at the same time, but every single rally you're calling out like where you're gonna hit the ball.
Cool.
So, and before the play, the setter will be like, okay, first 2 balls will be here and here, and just throw you numbers.
Okay.
And that's like a different set.
Gotcha. So you base it off. You kind of call out numbers, or do you call word plays? You go like play 1 would be 1, so you call out 1. You know, to go do that. Is that how you do it?
Yeah. So we call out play names.
Okay.
And a lot of times that's when multiple people are doing something at the same time. But when just on a normal rally, we would be calling out numbers, which would be like 1 would be like a quick set, 2 would be a high set, 3 would be like a quick set to the outside, you know. So,
cool.
I mean, it's not like those big sheets that the coaches, like Andy Reid's carrying around.
Yeah, the quarterback.
100 plays.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not quite like that.
No, but still, it is what it, you know, that's still complicated in itself. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now,
do you do sand volleyball? Is that your preference?
Yeah. I like indoor more, but sand is just so much easier to play, like with the group.
Oh, really?
Easier to find people to play sand.
Okay, but not easier on the feet, you think? Which is easier on the feet?
I don't know. It's not really hard on my feet. I've never really, like, not gonna really gotten hurt playing sand, because you can kind of just throw your body around.
Yeah.
It's always kind of soft landing.
That makes sense.
But definitely more work on like your legs, some more taxing on your legs.
In the sand?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. That's what I was
running around in the sand on the beach.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, so, because my feet are jacked from kickboxing. My feet are just jacked up.
Oh yeah, like your toes? Like
toes, ankles, like from the toe back to the heel hurts. My ankles hurt.
Yeah.
Everything else is strong, but like if I walk a long time at work, my feet are killing me. And I'm 26. It shouldn't be like that yet.
Yeah.
I think I attribute a little bit of it to kickboxing, but I really took I took it very hard after I graduated. So I'm actually the exact opposite of you in that you love the team sport aspect of volleyball. I started out doing a lot of team sports, and then I was so tired of losing because of other people on my team.
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm either gonna win on my own or I'm gonna lose on my own. That's what I did. So I went to tennis, and then wrestling I did for a little while. It didn't end up working out. I had to quit for personal reasons. But then I went into combat martial arts after that. After getting in a fight with this guy, I realized how much I love to fight. So I did it, and committed myself to it heavily. So much so that I ended up moving to Milwaukee. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I did move to Milwaukee. Did you know that?
No. When'd you do that?
I want to say 23, maybe 23 years old when I went to Milwaukee, and 22, something like that. I went to go train at Rufus Sport. This is a martial arts gym up there. It's they train Anthony Pettis, Tyron Woodley, a couple champions. Sergio Pettis is the Bellator champion currently, and he trains up there. But I got a little taste of what a professional life is like as a fighter. And unfortunately, my health insurance is non-existent to this day. And so I just couldn't, I was getting my ass beat almost every day.
Yeah.
And my body was breaking down really quickly. So I was like, what really opened my eyes was this kid was like 17 or 18. Here I am, 24, at this point, maybe 23. And he beat the shit out of me. And I'm like, bro, how? But he'd been training, like some of these kids are getting in their 6, 7 years old now.
Yeah.
And training every single aspect of MMA. They're killers by the time they're ready to go. They're allowed to go professional.
Yeah.
So I was like, I tried it. I don't think professional MMA is for me. So, but I do love, I'm still in the sport. I still follow the sport. One day I hope to coach. That's definitely my end goal with martial arts, but yeah, that was Milwaukee in a nutshell. I do like, you live or you die by your own sword, basically. Now, this is something I want to talk to you about. To my understanding, this is kind of what Hannah explained a little bit to me about you before I even linked up with you that first day. You're a very cultured individual, would you say, huh?
I mean, I have my moments.
Yeah, when I say cultured, I mean you've been to a lot of areas, both abroad and in the United States.
Yeah. I was, very lucky. When I was growing up, I started dating Italian foreign exchange student.
Sweet.
In high school, so we hit it off, and she moved back to Italy, and I went over there and had a lot of opportunities to kind of travel through Europe and learn a lot, drink a lot, and meet some really awesome people.
So where have you been?
Oh man, so when I first started, I started off in Italy, like almost predominantly, and then traveled to France, Spain, England, Germany, went skiing in Switzerland a couple times, hit Austria, and went to Poland for a weekend. I spent a little bit of time in Russia.
Oh.
And then there's definitely some places I'm leaving out, but a couple summers ago I went to Lithuania and did like all the Baltic states and Finland and Norway.
Okay.
And so that was a lot of fun. I have a lot of great stories from that. But when I first traveled abroad, I was fresh out of high school, and 18, it was the drinking age there, so I got to drink in bars for the first time and be exposed to that life, which was just awesome. And
why?
Because I was so used to drinking Bud Light in my friend's basement.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, and I was being exposed to all this really good wine and really good coffee and really good food that I maybe didn't even have access to in St. Louis. I mean, this is some of the greatest wine in the world. It comes from these countries. So
wow.
Like I just go there and travel through, small town Italy and drink the local wines and eat the local food. I mean, it's some of the best food and drinks that I've had.
And that's like normal for them, right?
Yeah, I mean,
that's so
it's
awesome.
all around them. So.
Now, I don't even know how to relate to. I cannot relate to that. Do you like what would you say your favorite country is first and foremost that you visited?
Italy.
Italy.
Sure. Yeah.
You spent the most time in Italy?
Yeah.
Okay. And solely for the wine? How are the people like in Italy?
Love the people too. I mean, everywhere I went, man, it was always, oh, what, like, where are you from? What are you doing here? Where you want to, like, what do you want to see? We'll tell you about all the good places. Like, I felt like I was loved there. Like, they wanted to get to know me.
Yeah, they want to share their country with you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which was, just super refreshing because before that, I kind of had this thought that when Americans travel abroad, we're super, like, fat and annoying.
Yeah.
I had that thought, but then I got there and, they didn't treat me that way. Like, they were expecting that from me.
Yeah.
So.
Happy to see you. Happy to see you. I mean, you think it'd be that way with pretty much anybody? Or is there something about Americans that is, like, captivating to overseas?
I definitely don't think it's about everybody. I spent enough time there to kind of realize that they, especially in the places I was staying in Milan and Rome a lot, so they have a lot of tourism there and a lot of Asian tourism, and they kind of don't like the Asian tourists as much.
Wow.
Yeah. But then the Americans, we're kind of known for, tipping a lot, being, going out to drink and eat a lot, so.
Got you.
And that's part of their culture, they have a very similar culture to ours.
Got you. Yeah, a little bit more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
and I don't know if they necessarily get that from the Asian culture. Not to say that they don't, there's probably some great travelers that are coming through there all the time. I'm just saying, like, what I kind of heard.
Yeah. Your observation, how you saw it, how it was out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so my buddy Luke, he was on the very first episode I had. He's pretty well traveled himself a little bit. I'd say you're probably more well traveled than he is, and I thought that'd be hard to achieve. He's been a lot of places, but he says his place he's been to is Spain and Ukraine the most.
Mm-hmm.
He says in Ukraine, they just love the fact that he's American. Like, they love Americans over there for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can think of a couple of reasons. Like, we're a superpower and everybody knows America, but is that kind of the same as it was in Italy? Like, they just, like, I think you might have answered it, but they were really excited to work or talk to you because you were an American, or do you think
it was like that everywhere, honestly. Everywhere I've always ever been. I actually have a great story of how this works on like this happened to me 2 years ago in Lithuania. So I went to Lithuania with one of my best friends from high school. He's Lithuanian, and we stayed with his dad there. And we went to this beach town that's on the coast. It's the Baltic Sea, kind of on the west coast of Lithuania. And it's kind of known to be like the party town. At the time, my friend didn't even drink. So, I mean, he would have like a beer with us, but he didn't really drink. So I went out, we went out, hit the town. We were just planning to have a couple beers. Like, I'm up ordering a beer at a bar, and all these guys come up to me and they're like, hey, like, where are you from? What are you doing here? Like, in perfect English to me.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm American. I'm here with my buddy. He's visiting family. And they're like, oh, you guys should hang out with us tonight. We'll show you a good time, basically. I was like, okay, we don't know anything around here. So, like, I'm down. And so they take us to, like, a very European club. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's very
okay.
And bright lights and lots of dancing. And right when we got there, they're like, oh, you have to do this Chuck Norris shot. I was like,
what is that, bro?
Like, okay, like, I'm American, Chuck Norris shot, like, whatever, I'll do it. And they pull out these glasses, they kind of look like this, right?
Okay.
And they stick 2 shot glasses in it, so they balance on each other, and they're, like, resting in the cup, right? And one's full of tequila, and one's full of Jägermeister, and then there's Red Bull in the cup.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking, like, this looks like a Jaeger bomb, but with something else. And I didn't know what the other thing was. So I'm like, it smells like tequila. Like, all right, whatever, I'll do it. So I pour them both in, and I slam it. And all the guys are looking at me like, what the hell? Like, that's not how you do that.
How are you supposed to do it?
So apparently you're supposed to do the tequila shot, and then when you take the tequila shot out, the Jaeger shot falls in.
Oh.
And it's, like, much more elegant.
He just fucking mixed it all like a fucking savage.
So I learned that in my second one. I can't remember which way I did in my third.
Oh my god, yeah, I bet.
But anyways, I met these guys ordering a beer, and then they take me to some club, and one of their like girlfriends is like the bartender there, so we're drinking for free. They have like an awesome table. They're really showing me a great time. And then they're like, my friend leaves because he's not drinking. He wants to get to bed early. So I'm staying out with these guys and having a blast. And they invite me to like their place, and they like feed me, and we were playing games, and like a bunch of people came over, and they all just wanted to get to know me. I was talking my head off the whole night because I was hammered. And then I'm like, okay, 3 a.m. rolls around. I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go home. Where am I?
Holy shit, yeah.
So
got you across the country.
Yeah, so I'm like,
world.
Point me towards the beach. And so they pointed me towards the beach. I'm walking back, have like this weird encounter with a couple of really drunk, like older ladies. I couldn't speak like hardly the only Lithuanian I knew was, hello, how are you? Like that was it.
Okay.
And so these ladies are like yelling at me as I'm walking towards them. I'm freaked out, and they're yelling at me, and I'm just saying, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
What?
Over and over again. But yeah, and it started pouring on my way home, and made a bunch of friends on my walk back too.
Jeez.
But it's just like, that wouldn't happen to me here.
No, I can now think of that. No, nobody would just invite you to a really dope table that they got with open arms like that. I can't think of one time it's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
By strangers.
Or even just getting invited to like a stranger's house to go to an after party. That doesn't really happen to me unless I kind of know them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these were complete strangers. Yeah.
That is so foreign to me.
And that wasn't even like the first time that's happened to me.
That was just one of many, huh?
Yeah.
Across overseas.
That's a trend for sure.
See, that's what I feel like. That's what I'm trying to get towards. I'm trying to create a community that's like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There are pockets of communities that I've lived in. There's a pocket, there are neighborhoods I've lived in where the community is tight. You know what I mean? And it's just love between each other. You know what I mean? And then you go to this in the city, and they call it the concrete jungle for a reason. It's like eat or be eaten is what it feels like. But then what I noticed, like when you open up, if you want to be the one to do that, I go and I strike up some conversation. Sometimes it works. Sometimes these people have, they want nothing to do with you for whatever reason, but I don't understand why. Like, one, when did that even happen is what I would like to know. And two, why is it still continuing? You know what I mean? Those are things I think about. So let's say somebody doesn't have a GitHub. How can they get in contact with you? Because I got at least 4 people that I work with that are building a company, trying to do their thing. How could they get in contact with you? Is it just through GitHub, or is there another way?
You can just email me.
Just email?
Yeah,
SamFeye@gmail.
SamFeye@gmail. I'll put that right down here for when it's time to put that up there. So back to being abroad, man. Would you ever consider moving overseas?
I did for a while. So part of this whole thing, I was dating that girl over there, and I was most of the time living here. I'd go over for like 2-month chunks at a time.
Wow.
And then I was taking Italian language classes, and
Okay.
I had a really awesome professor who kind of like hooked me up with the Italian Club of St. Louis.
Okay.
Which I didn't know that was a thing.
I've never heard of that.
But hey, it's a thing, and they sponsored me to go abroad and study over there. So I went, and a couple weeks I did at her school. So I spent a couple weeks at her school, and that was just terrible because I didn't know any Italian, and they were, I've been learning it in school, but it's like taking Spanish classes here and then trying to go to Mexico and speak with somebody. It doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
So, and they were man, it was ridiculous. I'd be in like Latin and Greek classes, and they'd be speaking in like Greek
in Italy
and Italian, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm like sitting there like trying to understand it. I'd be like, hey, what are you saying? And she's like, I don't even know. He's speaking in Greek. But you know, that was, you know, a really cool experience just to see how like another high school would work over there.
Yeah.
Thank God it was only for 2 weeks. I couldn't take another. I was really good at gym class there.
Oh,
that was about it.
Why? Is gym class any different over there than it is over here?
Oh, they were okay. So they were that was like an arts focused on arts high school.
Got you.
So their gym class was very like, a lot of them weren't very good at gym.
Got you. Yeah.
We played a lot of volleyball, which was just my forte at the time. But that was the one class that I did well in. I taught like a couple math classes. They have like a requirement where they have to teach a certain number of classes each year in English.
Okay.
So each teacher was like, I had to go in, go over their lessons plan with them, help them out, and they like wanted me to correct them if they say anything wrong, and I'm like, wow, man, you guys are killing it. You guys all speak perfect English.
Don't worry about me, yeah.
You speak better English than me. I mean, your grammar's better. Like,
oh, no kidding.
I don't know, but,
yeah.
So I thought that was funny. The math teacher had me explain some concepts in English because not everything translates as easily in math terms, I guess. I don't know. Okay. But I did that for 2 weeks, and then I did this like abroad thing with the college too, and that was just a lot of, you know, we'd have our language classes and culture class, but then we'd travel through Italy, and then once we hit a lot of Italy, we started branching out a little bit more and more.
Gotcha.
And that was just really great. It was, you know, everybody from my class, everybody from my Italian class, so it was really cool, and I met a lot of great people through that. And so I started to learn the language a lot. I really loved living there and being there, and everything's brand new and awesome to you. So I didn't want to leave, and I was trying to get into college there, which is kind of a tricky ordeal. A lot of visits to the consulate in Chicago, but
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork, a lot of headache. Then I ended up breaking up with a girl, or she broke up with me, so it was like, don't really want to go there now.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
And now looking back on it, you know, it was just because I was head over heels for this girl. I didn't even like give a crap about my family, and now I do so much. Like now I'm like, I would never do that because I would have to spend $2,000 to see my family for Christmas.
Gotcha.
So at the time, definitely was going to, and now I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Now, do you think you're gonna be in Kansas City for a while?
It's a plan. You know, I'm not gonna turn down an opportunity if it comes my way, but I love it here. And I've traveled a lot in the U.S. too, and I think just Kansas City is awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Top 3 spots you
Top
found?
1.
Top 1. Seriously? Yeah. Wow. So just because of the scene, what about Kansas City makes you say this?
I think it's a great place to live. The scene in Austin, Texas, the scene in Chicago, you know, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I wouldn't want to live there. And maybe, you know, I've only been to those places a handful of times, and I've lived here for a while, but I knew that about Kansas City from the second I came to visit.
Really?
Yeah. That's
really, really awesome to hear.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Luke, you would love Luke.
Mm-hmm.
I should introduce you to, because you guys would get along. He said the same thing. He said he meets people from New York coming to move to Kansas City, California, Texas. They all come to Kansas City and they love it here. And that's just really wild that you say that. You know, it's just a little bit more validation on why Kansas City is dope. You know, yeah. I didn't appreciate Kansas City for what it was until I moved to Milwaukee. Milwaukee was like, I didn't get the full Milwaukee experience, I don't believe. I spent a lot of my time working and then training at the gym. Mm-hmm. But it just felt like the people that were there that were my age that I would have been kicking it with were assholes, bro.
Really?
Yeah, like the majority of them, I only got along with, I can count on my hand maybe 3 two genuine friendships I got out there. Everybody else was just like, you kick it with them and fuck around, do a little, party, and then, but, if they were done with you, they wouldn't think twice. You're fucking done. I got a whole long story about my birthday day. Well, basically what happened, to make a very long story short, these guys I was kicking it with for my birthday, we were all going out to celebrate. I was fucked up. We were at a after party, like 3:34, kicked out because these guys I was kicking it with didn't want to deal with my drunk self, even though everybody was drunk. Mm-hmm. I was the one that got pinpointed, got lost, blacked out, got lost in Milwaukee, came to, didn't know where I was at, ended up walking like so many miles. I don't even know how many miles. I ended up walking so many miles, getting picked up by the cops, going back to the apartment just to find out I didn't have my keys, because the guy who originally told me to leave had my keys.
Man,
it was insane. And that was just like Milwaukee that was like Milwaukee relationships in a nutshell for me, But people over here, I like to think are better, but I live here, so I've developed relationships since I was 7, 8. All that to say, that's crazy that you say Kansas City's number 1.
Yeah, I love it here.
Awesome.
There's good and bad people everywhere, but I just love the vibe here.
So, would you say it's less of a people thing, and more of not only stuff to do, but I guess that is what
I think it's tough to do the people thing, because people are so different from little area to little area, Like, think Crossroads people are going to be different than, like, Westport people.
That's interesting, yeah. I agree with you.
Or just, like,
really interesting.
Okay, like, people coming from Roland Park, that's so much different than Prairie Village or Westwood,
Mm-hmm.
The people there are just very different. So, I think it's tough to boil it down to people. I think the biggest thing for me is just, me and my girlfriend, we've been trying to hit, like, as many food restaurant places to figure out what we like the most.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we feel like we still haven't barely scratched the surface.
Excellent.
I've been keeping track of all the places I've been. It's like 80 something, but every week we're just like, I haven't even heard of that place yet. Like, why haven't we gone? Why don't we have time to do this?
You got a tier system?
What?
Are you going to tier them out at any point in time?
I have them all mapped. Like,
okay.
Little pinpoints on my map.
Do you, but you're not tearing them out, like, you like this one the best, and then you got ones that
I feel like the ones you like the most, you remember.
That's true. Totally true.
or you don't remember it enough, so you have to go back.
Yeah, that's a really good point right there. Yeah, you can make, you could be the one to, hell no, we got to collaborate so we can get that on the website. We're trying to put some people on, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, collaborating, just like just to bring it back to the beginning of this whole podcast. Mm-hmm. Collaborating and doing something for the community. Just like with the neighborhoods, I'm trying to do that on a city scale. I don't see how it's not possible. I definitely think it's possible, but I think it takes it's going to take, I think it's going to take heavy work, a lot of work. But I'm trying to make the work a little bit easier. That's why I asked you to get that Twitter feed on the website.
Yeah.
Get the YouTube feed on the website. Just streamline everything to the best of our ability so that people don't have to work so hard to be better, to be more. Mm-hmm. It's just right there for them to do.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. And you understood it right from the jump. That first meeting, you got where I was going from.
Yeah, I think when you first texted me about coming on here, I was like, okay, let me see let me look at the other podcasts, see what I should prepare for, what it's going to be like. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize I was doing it until I was on the website, but I went to the website to go to the videos to watch it on your site. And I just thought, it's like, why didn't, just like trying to criticize myself or try to think about why I did something. But I was like, so why didn't I go to YouTube? Well, I just thought that the website would be easier to find because it's like I just type in the website, know where it's exactly where it's at. So I was like, YouTube, I'd have to like search your name, kind of pick through some stuff, and it probably would have taken me a little bit more time. So I just went directly to the site, and I was just like, played it on the site.
Oh yeah.
Didn't have to worry about any ads or anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's awesome that you. It's made it a little bit easier than you'd say.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Make it a little easier, and you help me with that. Hey, y'all need to get with Sam. If you got a website you need to make, I'm telling you, he cares about what he does. First and foremost, you gave a fuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't just some money to you. I just paid this guy. I'm not gonna name his name or the company he works for, but I just paid him $200 for him to take so long to make a one little video that I compiled footage for in one day. It's taken him 4 or 5 weeks now, and I still don't have the proof that he needs to show me. It's just for a 15-second video. That's it. And I'm trying to contact him. I'm trying to get a hold of him, and he doesn't respond back until like 3-4 days later.
It's bad business.
It's bad business. I'm glad you said that because I want to make sure I wasn't overreacting. I felt like it was bad business. He cares. You're in contact. You were in contact with me every step of the way. You were telling me things I needed to know before I asked questions about. He cares about what he does. He's good at what he does, and you're only getting better. That's the beautiful part of it. If you think the Be More Ventures website is good, it's only gonna, yours is only gonna be better from that. How many clients have you had since then? Or not since then, but altogether, I'm sorry. 4. You've had 4 clients altogether. Yeah. And, I need to get with you after this and check that AWS. I got a question for you on that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he's had 4 clients altogether. He's just starting out, y'all. And what's your goal with this?
I just want to, try to be more sustainable with it. Just try to do it more often, build my skills. That's the main thing. You want to do this as a career one day? I think I'd like to try it. Okay. I don't know if I'll keep with it. I've been talking to some people about doing freelance, and a lot of them, they do it for a little while and then they kind of hop back in to the salary corporate world. But it gets easier? I think so. Yeah. I get it. I don't know all the reasons, but yeah, that's just kind of the vibe I've been getting lately. Totally. That's the older you get, the more secure you need to be. Yeah. They're offering you a secure job. But for me, man, I work my 9 to 5 every day, but then I'm working weekends at XWA. I'm doing these websites on the side. Mm-hmm. Just trying to do something good with my life, Yeah, grinding, bro. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, ironically, I just watched this video the other day about grind mindset, the grind hustle, and it's a pretty bleak outlook on why it's become like this. Why you've got to work your salary job, freelance on the side, and then work weekends at the bar. Same here. I'm trying to build this company. I'm working full time at Seasons. It's basically like I don't know the word you call it, but they're like, why is it like this now? And I think I put it on the BMV.org, but I don't know why I said that, but the grind hustle, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it didn't have to be like, just so we can go do what we actually want to do. It didn't have to take 70 hours, 80 hours a week to do it, But I don't know if you were saying it in like I know you weren't saying it in like a bleak, sad tone. No. But I just wish you could do freelance work and, live sustainably, I guess. Yeah. I just, I really like the whole process of like taking on a project like yours. I get to meet with the owner of the business, and I get to see like what their vision is, where they're trying to go. And I get to help them like make it. And with my normal job, I like the stuff I do. It's just you kind of miss out on that part of things because there's a whole client relations team handling it. And that kind of gives what you're doing purpose when you have that side of things, when you can meet the client and see how they're going to be using your product and why they need it and what their vision for it is, instead of just getting instructions passed down. But at the same time, I like my job too. Yeah. My other job too. It has its own pros and cons. Sure.
Sure.
And then all this like hobby projects and working at the bar, that's all just going to savings to probably buy a house one day. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Do you so the client relations is something that you really enjoy? That
it's mainly I like that process.
what do you mean?
It gives your work it gives your work more purpose.
Okay, I see what you like with your job, your task specifically. It allows you to, that purpose allows you to care a little bit more about it. Would you say?
Yeah, like with your project, I get way more invested in it. I want it to be like perfect. I want it to look perfect, and it's partly because like I know the vision for it, and I met the guy behind it. But at work, I don't have that like drive to do things the same way. Instead, it's like I have to get this done by this time because if I don't, then I'll get in trouble. Whereas before, it's like I want to make this perfect because if I don't, I'm not going to be happy with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you are a perfectionist, I'd say.
Yeah.
About things you care about at the very least.
Yeah.
Because you were adding things that I wasn't even thinking to add. You were thinking of ways that you could make my vision, you could amplify my vision. But it was still my vision. Like that was just, it was very refreshing, and I plan to work with you going on in the future. Until you move or you can't do it anymore, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did great work. I'm grateful for you, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Good. I'm glad that's fine. You did. So you see that painting right there, or I don't know if you can consider it a painting. Yeah.
Is it like on glass?
It's on glass. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, my buddy Carlos Miller made that, but is that not the theme of the website?
Yeah, it's got that neon, colorful. I like it.
Even the purple overtone.
Yeah.
The black. So my buddy, he posted that the minute I saw it, I said I have to buy it. It's got to go in the studio, and now I use it for the thumbnail because it just fits.
Yeah.
So I don't know, in a weird like synchronistic way, it kind of like is all coming together. Your vision and his vision and my vision all like blended into one, and now we're here.
Yeah,
talking about it.
Now we're here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Be more barbecue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's it. So when I get a vegetarian here, which I know I will get here soon, I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do. I'm gonna have to text you about a spot to get a nice vegetarian sandwich. I know there's food and a cafe gratitude, but I'm trying to find other spots maybe you might know about. You know any?
Vegan food? Let's see. I'm trying to think of like where some of my vegan friends like, 'cause I am a big carnivore. But True Food, I think they have a lot of options. One of my friends, she really likes, it's up, do you know where Chazelle is? It's West Side Local. That's what it's called.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. It's a restaurant up in West Side South, I think, and kind of by Chazelle, Clay and Fire. They got a cool spot, but I think they have a lot of vegan food there. You can kind of get to go.
Okay.
Vegan food is always so tough.
In what sense?
There's like a lot of things that aren't vegan.
Yeah. I used to be vegan for a little while.
Really?
Yeah.
How long?
3 months.
3
Couldn't
months?
do it.
That's a long time though.
I was so skinny, bro.
Yeah.
All I was eating was like spicy, sweet chili Doritos because those were vegan. Apples, grapes, broccoli.
Wow.
I was so skinny.
So what was the reason you went vegan?
Religious reasons.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was in a cult. I was
Really?
actually in a cult. Yeah. And it was an online cult, but we were talking about getting together at one time. And basically the ideology was to wean off, to become vegan eventually because, things have 2 eyes, 2 ears, a heart, you shouldn't eat it. To summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it. I was vegetarian for 3 years. And then, like I said, I went vegan for 3 months. I tried to elevate it. Kind of saw through the bullshit behind it all. And then eventually just whipped to eating meat. I was like, I don't buy this shit anymore. Like, there's a whole bunch of hypocrisy that I saw between this leader that, you know, he created the whole thing. He was just a hypocrite, and I would ask him questions like as a curious individual, and he like shut me down. Like I wasn't okay to ask questions, but he's all about love and understanding. So I was like, dude, you're not what you're saying you are. So I was like, eventually I'd come out of it. But I was vegan, bro. I was vegan. I was putting my feet in Epsom salt bath and meditating in it. Like I was deep in it, bro.
Yeah.
Just trying to find God for real. But I'm better because of it. I'll tell you that much. Like it was a hell of an experience, and now I understand that experience has caused me to like figure out or try to understand how people become manipulated and brainwashed into things. You know, it's a very slow process, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. You start here and you end here. You don't see it as it's happening. You don't see that change happening.
Yeah, until you look back.
Yes, and then there's that pivotal moment where you're like, wow, you just did something you said you would never do, and I'm here. I just invested a fucking year and a half, 2 years of my life into you. You know, what would you do if your whole identity was questioned, right?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had anything like that happen to you?
Where, I don't know. I've always kind of like gone to the beat of my own drum.
Mm-hmm. I could tell that.
I definitely think I've been influenced by a lot of people, but I don't know if I've ever had like my whole identity challenged. Maybe.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
Cool.
That's pretty. It's a pretty tough thing to do. Go vegetarian or vegan for a long time. Did you notice like? Did you feel better or worse after you came back to meat?
I didn't feel better or worse really. I just felt normal, I guess. Like,
really?
Yeah, because I was doing it because I wanted to do it. You know. Yeah, I can tell you're a beat drummer though. Like, ever since I met you, like, and you know, you've had a lot of world experience. It just, in all the things I've been trying to learn, it seems like the more you are able to have that perspective, the more you're able to kind of have a foothold on you as a person.
Yeah.
You know, you've had so much perspective thrown at you.
Yeah, it was actually pretty tough when I came back, because I took that whole year abroad, and I was, you know, you leave high school and you kind of think you're a big shot, and then I traveled a lot, you know, and came back, and I went to this university in small town Illinois. It's a big university, but it was in small town Illinois. I had to take these like English classes where we had to write these papers about like how the American dream was dead and how like all this stuff is what's wrong with America, and I'm just like, what the heck? I've been gone for so long and we're like killing it here.
Oh, okay. Because you didn't think that.
No, I didn't think
at
that
way.
Time. I didn't think that way at all. And they were trying to like really force a kind of ideology down my throat. It felt like, and I actually got in a lot of trouble. Like, it was part of the reason why I transferred.
Why? What'd you do?
I said some stuff that I probably should have been more respectful about to my teacher. It was mainly just like I felt like I was being told to think a certain way, and I just thought that the way the teacher was phrasing everything was just outrageous and
a little biased.
100% bias.
Okay.
But like the way she was teaching it was that it's like a matter of fact, and then we have to write all this stuff, and if you write like against it, it doesn't like, I don't know, it doesn't count as what she was looking for. And
wow, well, kudos to you for standing up. I mean, you
but
for what you believed in.
Man, it was crazy. Okay, I might as well tell a story because I basically got in trouble for, you know, I said something in class, and then I talked to the teacher about it afterwards, and I thought she wanted to talk to me and kind of like get my side of things, but she was just like there to lecture me and tell me I was like, she was treating me like a little kid.
You were out of pocket.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have said that.
She was treating me like a little kid, and At least that's how I felt. And I had this big ego about myself at that time. You know, partly because I was 18 years old, and partly because I just came back from like seeing all these really amazing things and living on my own and drinking beer in a bar. And I felt like on top of the world. And I come back to America and they're like belittling me and making me feel stupid and telling me like, this is how you should think. And so I got like really upset with the way she was talking to me. So I started talking to her like that, and she got even more upset and without telling me, like, wrote me up or whatever. And so I made like it's funny, we both like wrote each other up. I went to my advisor and I was like, I got a problem with this teacher. I need to talk to whoever her boss is, and like, this needs to happen. I like recorded the whole thing. I had all my screenshots from our conversation.
Wow, you can't compare.
Yeah, and so like one day I get a letter. It's like a security letter in your email. I get this letter and it's from the dean of students. So I'm like, finally, it's like months after it happened. Finally it came. I had to go tell my side of the story. I have like 6 pages of like screenshots and like a whole audio recording of our conversation. And I go into I'm wearing like a suit and tie. I go into the dean's office with my little binder and I'm like, hello sir, how are you? And I was like, he's like, why do you think you're here? I'm like, because I get to tell my side of the story. Why am I here? He's like, you got written up twice by your professor and we need to talk to you. I'm like, what, did you not get any of my write-ups to my teacher? Like, yeah. What? And he's like, he listened to my whole side of the story, and like I talked to him, and then I talked to the dean of that. She was part of the English school or whatever, and I talked to the dean of that school, and I talked to all these different deans and stuff, and nobody ever did anything for me.
What the fuck?
But I got 2 strikes against my record.
What? That's why you had to leave?
No, well, I mean, it's part of the driving reason probably, but I was fed up with it, man.
But it sounds like a lot of bureaucratic bullshit.
That was kind of like a big turning point for me, where I was like, man, I thought I did everything right. Like, I was standing up for myself. I was trying to have like an open mind. I was trying to be like independent and speak what I believed in, and I was disrespectful about it. What it came down to is I was too disrespectful about it.
Do you agree with that? Would you have changed the way you would have done some things now?
I think I would have handled it better now. I was probably more immature then. Okay. And, you know, when I got hot, I was hot. Yeah. You know, I was, like, if somebody pissed me off, I was going to let them know. Yeah. So. Would you say you were out of pocket? Like, meaning that I was disrespectful? Yeah. Yeah, like I was definitely disrespectful. Gotcha. You deserved it, you think? Or you think you got treated a little unfairly? Oh, no, I definitely think I was treated unfairly. I mean, at the same time, like, how much respect should you give a teacher that's not respecting you at all? Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. I mean, you're supposed to, like, respect them because they're in a position of power over you. Like, I mean, they're there to teach you. I mean, honestly, you're paying for this. Like, exactly. They should be listening to your opinions and, like, helping you understand things. But, like, just telling you you're wrong and that you're doing all these things wrong is not the way to go about it. And then writing you up, and then yeah. And they were leadership position. You know, I moved to Kansas City and went to commuter school where I didn't have to deal with all that stuff. Let's go. And now you're here, baby, in the #1 spot in the nation. Yeah. But I mean, like, man, I hated that. And I came off super loving life, and then I got stuck in that rut for a while, and I was just like, out of here. I don't blame you one bit. I would have done the same shit. Like, dude, they are the leader, right? They're supposed to be setting what they do. They should expect to be mirrored back at them, because what are we supposed to do but look at you as, you know, our guide basically through this course. Mm-hmm. I'm only going to treat you how you treat me. That's across the board, and that's how it should be. That's the golden rule, right? I'm not even a religious guy anymore, but I still abide by that rule. I'm only going to treat you the way you treat me. I'm a loving guy, and I'm sure you know. I mean, we've kicked it enough. I don't wish ill will on anybody. But if you wish ill will upon me, okay, it's all fair in love and war, basically. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect your decision, man. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Would you say you came out on the better end of it? What do you think you'd be if you were stayed there?
Oh yeah, I mean that was the other reason why I didn't want to stay there. I was already thinking about transferring, just because like I feel like you always end up working where you kind of graduated from, because you take an internship maybe your junior or senior year.
Got you.
And then like you get a job opportunity from that company. You've been working for them for a year, so you know the ins and outs. You have friends there, and so I just saw all my buddies were graduating from small town Illinois and working in St. Louis or small town Illinois.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get out of St. Louis first off. I grew up there, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I want to be somewhere closer to my family. And so I was like, let me check out KC. Actually, it's funny. I toured UMKC with my sister because my sister was just touring schools at that time.
Okay.
So we went and hit a bunch of schools, and it was funny.
Did she end up out here too?
No, she ended up in Mizzou.
Mizzou, gotcha. You went to Cuba.
I did not want that. I would have just gotten in more trouble there, man. Same story.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's she doing out there?
Oh, she loves it.
She loves it?
Yeah.
No problems like you?
No.
Excellent.
Yeah, she maybe learned a couple things. I don't know.
I was going to say, is she the type to do that?
No, I think she probably saw. She is the type to do that, but she probably saw what happened to me, and they all heard all my stories. So.
Hey man, well I think you ended up better because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had this guy. He's kind of like a mentor to me. I lost my job like right before the pandemic. I was working at a restaurant, and the restaurant closed. It kind of screwed us over. I was like scrambling to find a new place, and I texted him to see if he had any, like, he knows a lot of people in the industry, so I was like trying to get a feeler out there and see if he knew of any spots that were hiring. He's like, let's go get lunch at Axwell. I love that place. Let's go check it out. So we go there, and I was like, man, this is my place. Like, this is where I want to work. And we were talking about it after I'd gotten the job. We were talking about it. I was like, man, I was so upset when I lost that job. Like, I thought that I was going to lose a bunch of money. I wasn't going to have the same friend group I was going to have. I thought I wasn't going to be able to pay rent, all these things. And then I ended up coming out of that with a better job, better friends, making more money. And he's like, he tells me, this dude's in his 60s or 70s, and he tells me, he goes, I tell you what, when I've ever had a turning stone like that, where something really terrible happens and I have to make a big change and start something new, he said, it's always turned out for the better. Every single time. This dude's older and had a lot of these. Yeah. And he said every single time, he told me this with confidence, every single time it's always turned out for the better.
Fuck yeah.
I thought that was awesome.
That
awesome
is.
To hear.
It's very encouraging. It's like, why worry?
Yeah.
Something will always happen.
Something's always going to happen that's out of your control.
Do you believe that? That things happen for a reason?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I'd like to.
Me too, bro. I mean, I spent 3 years of my life in a cult, bro, figuring that answer out. I still don't know. You believe in God?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Do you believe we're in a simulation? Do you believe we're in a code? What do you think is more likely? That we're in a simulated code, or we're created by God, which is almost essentially the same thing?
Honestly, man, I have watched a lot of YouTube videos about like simulation theory. And I feel like they always tell me that it's more likely that we're in a simulation, but then I never understand the math that they're using. I'm like, what the heck? We're 1/1 billionth of a chance that we're in a simulation, but 1/2 billionth of chance that we're made by God. What?
Yeah, okay, that's past my knowledge of simulation theory, but that's.
I've just seen some YouTube videos that like make some claims that are like based on like statistics or something, and they try to say that like, okay, this one's a little bit more likely than the other.
Like, okay.
I hope we're not in a simulation, man. That would suck.
That would suck. What was any of this for? I would have just gone and done whatever the hell I wanted. By the end of this, I just turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there is importance and purpose though, which leads me to hang on to the idea of God, because I would say that at one point I was atheist after I come out of that spiritual religious phase I had, but I've never fully been atheist. I don't think. I've had really weird experiences in my life that have led me to believe something higher. Especially with the use of psilocybin mushrooms, like I think there is something, but I hell if I know. You know what I mean? Hell if I know. Nobody knows. But there's that soul, like purpose itself tethers you to something higher. For whatever reason, whether it's biological, genetic, I guess that's the same thing, I'm not entirely sure, or spiritual, it's important. So, I can't kind of come to a point like, what's it matter anymore? As long as it's still purpose in my life, I guess I'll just keep riding out and see where it takes me, basically.
Yeah, it's like you gotta find purpose in something.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just wither away.
Yeah, or else something else will take you.
I was thinking about this quote. It's a Nicki Minaj quote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in one of her songs, and I just cannot believe.
I'm excited for this, actually.
I cannot believe I'm about to say this, but I heard this before. She says, "But to live does not mean you're alive," or something like that.
Okay.
You've probably heard the line before, but
it's. I feel like it's a kind of a saying that people have.
Yeah, pretty common. And I'm just sitting there. This was the other day. I'm like listening to. I'm like, when I was younger, I was like, that is so stupid. That's so corny.
Mm-hmm.
And then I listened to it the other day. I'm like, that is so stupid. That is so corny. And then I'm like, but damn, she kind of right. You know what I mean? But it is stupid, because you'd be like, yeah, of course you're alive. Why would you say that? But you need purpose in order to live, I think.
Yeah.
To live.
Yeah. You got to find stuff that you love. Or else then what are you here for,
So Sam Feye loves coding.
Guitar.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at it. But man, I've been trying.
My man, that's all you got to do.
Yeah. A couple years now. Been trying. Slowly getting there. I just got a looping pedal, actually.
Okay.
So I can kind of play over myself now.
Yes,
Working
sir.
on some improv.
Nice.
Terrible at it, but getting better.
Yes, sir.
No, I've been doing lessons for a year now.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I had always really been interested in it. I played instruments growing up too, but my dad got me a guitar for Christmas when I was like a senior in high school, so like way too late. Like he should have done that shit when I was like 6 years old. Like what the heck? Why'd you wait so long? I mean, but he gives it to me when I'm like older in high school, and I took it around with me to college, and I'd like mess around with it. I never had like any money in college, so I was always like, I'm not gonna take lessons. Like I'm just gonna watch YouTube videos, watch some Marty music, and try to figure this out on my own. And then COVID hit, and all of a sudden I had time for all these things that I've been trying to get into. And so I was playing guitar like an hour a day every day, and I was like, okay, it's time to take lessons.
Cool.
And so now I still do that. I practice for like 2 hours today. And,
nice.
I had lessons yesterday, actually. Yeah, yesterday. And, just really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'd love to be better at guitar. I'd love to be able to like express myself through it. That's the end all goal. Starting to get there.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like when I have something bad happen at work, I can kind of just like step away for a second, play like 10 minutes of guitar, and I feel a little bit better, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Just let it out through the music.
Yeah, and I'd love to like actually have the ability to kind of express myself more through it. I can play stuff that other people have written.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to kind of put my own spin on it eventually.
Yeah.
And then improv's like a big goal of mine, so just now starting to get into it.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, you're looking back at when you first started, right? You ever think you would be at this point?
I thought I was gonna be at this point way earlier.
Never mind.
I'm just thinking back to like 18-year-old me. He's like stars in his eyes, like picturing himself on a rock stage.
Oh yeah, he's letting it out.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah, same here with
Where
the
did I go
martial arts,
wrong?
man. I'm right there with you. We all got dreams, and then life just crushes them.
Yeah. Yeah. So during COVID, man, I had like a lot more time to play.
Yeah,
that was huge. That was huge. And then I started to work out a lot again. And started because I was always home in front of my computer. You know, COVID hit. I never even been to the office at work.
That's so awesome. I love that, bro.
I've been there once to get my ID and stuff, but my computer. But
I don't even need the idea.
No. But yeah, I've just been working from home, so I think the first month I was okay with it. You know, I was like in my pajama pants, sitting on Zoom. I had like a collared shirt on deck in case we had like a meeting where I had to have my camera on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, you know, whenever I needed to take a break, instead of going to talk to somebody, I just kind of like roll back in my chair, pick up my guitar, play a little bit of music, you know, on lunch break, just pick up my guitar, play a little bit of music, and that's kind of how that started. And then I was so sick of being in the house. I was like, what can I do that's going to be productive for me that I can do every day to get out of the house? I can go to the gym. So I got a Planet Fitness membership. Started going to the gym every day before work. And man, I don't think you knew me before I started going to the gym, but I was a twig.
Okay.
I was like $155.
Okay.
And like skinny. And now I've like really changed the way I gained like 30 pounds almost.
Nice. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Nice. So then you were twiggy all the way up until this last point. This last point is when you really started looking like you look now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, because you said you were a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I figured this is just kind of how you always look. You said you were twiggy, but I thought that was like a growing pain type thing.
Yeah, I never really hit my stride until I was 18, and I started to bulk up a little bit more. But you know, I wasn't like I wasn't like skinny, but I was not built. And it wasn't until the summer of 2020 when we were all locked and stowed away. You know, that's when I got into it, and now I've been like, I want to say probably 325 days at the gym this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've gone pretty much every day.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You got some type of consistent drive in you, bro. I respect the hell out of that.
You know, thank God for COVID.
Oh my God, a lifesaver, man.
Am I the first person to say that?
That's hilarious,
it's
bro.
wrong for me to say it.
Even that's funny. It's not wrong. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, but
shout out COVID.
Honestly, I got a bunch of time to do my hobbies, so
yeah. Nice, man. Well, I'm sure. Here's what I'm gonna do. This camera, we should kickbox. We should kickbox sometime, bro.
Oh yeah?
Not like against each other, but we should like hit
Go to
pads
the
and
gym.
shit. Yeah, bro. I'm training this guy, and I'm loving the coaching life. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I
think I still have my leg stuff.
Okay.
My leg,
you know how to throw a punch?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. You know how to throw a kick?
I think I can remember it.
Hell yeah. We should throw some punches and some kicks, man.
Okay. Got it.
Cool. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm sure this camera's died. So what we got is this camera.
Oh, this is already dead?
I'm sure it is.
Really?
Sure it is. We've been going a long time.
Oh, really? What time is it?
I don't even know. 5:56. So y'all, you know the name, you know the face. This is Sam Feye. GitHub at SFeye, Feye.
Had to check the board.
Yes, sir. That's the plug. If you need a website done by him, hit him up. His email will be right down here. That's it. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. If you want to support Be More Ventures, we're wrapping up our clothing drive. So if you got a couple more articles of clothing, hit me up. I'll go and pick those up and donate them out to Shelter KC. And then go check out BeMoreVentures.org, his creation, my brainchild. get you a BMKC hoodie, get you a BMV.Tee, support the cause. We're going to be doing much more stuff for the community and each other. I just need a little bit of time to show y'all what we got cooking up. So that's it. BMV and Barbecue episode 4 in the books. It's a wrap.